Hey everyone. I'm usually somebody who lacks expression and does not really talk about how they're feeling. But this time I feel that I need to open up to somebody so that I could use some advice. I'm new to this community, so I don't really know how it works. But I'll start. So my name's Eva and I'm 27 years of age, and I've been going through a lot lately and I just feel stuck and don't know what to do next, so hear me out. I've been married to my husband Steve for a very long time, and we recently became parents to a beautiful girl. However, my mother-in-law Karen, she hates me, or this is what I believe she does. She's literally the most entitled woman I've ever come across, and I kid you not. Whenever that woman looks at me, it seems like she's going to kill me or something. Yeah, you heard it right. She has a beef with me. So let me tell you where it all started. Steve and I started dating in college, and we've been together since, and obviously Karen never approved of us, and I don't think that she ever will. Anyways, when Steve introduced me to her, I could see it in her eyes that she clearly did not like me. And even while I was at their place, she kept giving me a snide eye. Also, I went to the loo. I heard her mocking me in front of Steve by telling him that he's had a bad taste in women because he was dating me. Well, not gonna lie, I was taken aback at that time, but as a matter of respect, I did not say anything, as I love Steve and I clearly do not want and never want to create problems for him. So at the time, I decided to keep quiet. I also, heard her telling my husband that I was not good enough for her, and that he should reconsider his choice as she never liked me in the first place. I was so heartbroken that I wanted to leave as soon as possible. But I only kept quiet as I never wanted to lose Steve. Not only this, we wanted to get married to each other, and when we told her this, she got agonized and directly said that she would not support our marriage as she did not like me. And if she got married, he would have to leave his family, and Steve agreed as he was persistent that he wanted to marry me. So we got married, and of course, after that, he never went back to his home. We lived away for a very long time, and after our marriage, however, I always used to think about the fact that why would Karen hate me for no reason? What have I ever done to her? But I'm glad that Steve never left my side while all this was going down. Yeah, so like I told you all recently, we had a baby girl, and we're overjoyed. As a good son after all these years, Steve wanted to call his mother to inform her about our baby as he thought that would fix everything. He even asked me if I was okay with it, and I agreed as I knew how much he missed his mother all the time. So yes, at the time I was okay with it until she showed up and proved again how much she hated me. So of course, when Steve called Karen and told her about the good news, she was full of happiness and congratulated us for this new beginning. She informed us that she was going to visit us soon. At the moment, of course, I thought that she was ready to forget what it all had happened before, and she would treat me nicely. So, having that thought, I looked forward to her as I had already forgiven her for humiliating me. That was something that I thought, LOL. So yesterday, my mother-in-law Karen showed up with my sister-in-law Misa and her two notorious kids. Now, why would I say that? Because her kids are the most chaotic ones I've ever seen. As soon as they enter, they start running around here and there and started playing around with the household stuff. I wanted to say no, but they were our guest and I had to be respectable. So, in the midst of all this, I also noticed how Karen was provoking them just to play around the house despite watching them create trouble. I was confused at first as I could not understand what was happening. I tried to calm the children, but they refused to listen and instead started shouting and running around more and more. I was starting to get furious. So let me tell you what happened next, and this is the major reason why I'm letting you know all of this, and why I'm even here in the first place. So, Misa's children asked me if they could play with the baby toys, and I very politely told them to play in the backyard, as everybody was sitting and talking in the drawing room. They had almost agreed with me until Karen came in. She overheard us and told me not to behave with her grandchildren this way again. She showed me this attitude as if I was living off her, and then it hit me that she still had a grudge against me and that she did all of this with time. Even the arrival of the baby could not calm her down, and I again kept quiet as I did not want to spoil anything for Steve. before anything could even get any worse, and of course, with that evil smile of hers, opened the doors of my baby room where all her toys, instigated the notorious kids to go inside, and she kept urging them to go. I was so furious. She knows that those children are extremely naughty, and they don't listen at all, and yet she happily let them inside. What was this for? The woman literally ignored what I had to say and gave me an entitled look and allowed the children to play. What does she think of herself? I ignored her and told her the children to be careful. Oh, how I wish I had asked them to come out, because boy, the mess that they created. It was horrible. They had broke all the toys in my baby's rooms. They broke the flower pot that Steve had gifted me and turned the room upside down. When I opened up the room, I was shattered into pieces. My heart broke to see what those stupid children had done, and nobody did anything about it. I sat in the room for 15 minutes and then came out in the most aggressive manner possible. I stood up to my beloved mother-in-law. That way she had let the children inside. She acted all innocent, as if she did not know how notorious they were. She again taunted Steve for marrying me and asked me to just rethink. I could not believe the audacity of this woman. She stood up in front of everybody and asked them why would she let the children purposely inside. Rather, according to her, I should learn how to be nice to people. Yeah, right, says the woman who was never nice to herself to me. She was trying to be all goody-goody, but only I had seen what she was up to. You know what the worst part was? She's going to stay with us for some time, and I'm so done already. The funny part is that she's brought so much of her stuff, like, who carries their own antique possessions with them when they're visiting someone? And the suitcase is full of so many clothings? Yeah, apparently they're too precious for her to leave at her house, and that's why she takes them with her everywhere. You only tell me, how do I put up with a woman who is such a witch? Yeah, excuse me for the language, but it is what it is. Of all that she put me through, I did not even think I could be respectable towards her. At this point, I am so done. I wish that I could scream at her and ask her to leave, but then on the other hand, Steve has reunited with his mother after such a long time, and I don't wish to take it away from him. All the time I've met her, she only reminds me that she considers me as nothing, and I'm clearly not a family member to her. I'm sure that she thinks that I'm not good enough for her son and never will be. So while I write this, all I'm thinking about right now is what should I do next? As I'm stuck and there's no way out of this. Please tell me so that I can get some clarity. What do you all think that I should do? Shall I talk to Steve? Or shall I ask Karen why she hates me oh so much? What's up, everybody? Mr. Reddito here. Okay, today's story is an intense one. There is so many updates to hop into for this, so let's just go off the rip. Update number 1. And guys, don't forget to subscribe. Good evening, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. I honestly did not think that I would even be back so soon and inclined to come back here for an update, but here I am. So this morning, I was going through all the comments and suggestions that you all posted, and I'm so glad for the love and support that you showed me, and for making me feel right about the situation. And of course, while there were good comments, there were also bad ones. And excuse me, how come I am wrong over here? I'm not seeking anyone's attention, I just came here as I was confused as what to do next, and I think you should just get over yourself from the commenters. Anyways, coming back to the update, it's been a week since my post, and let me tell you, all this is a major one. So, our mother-in-law's been staying with us, and as I mentioned in my last post, she has been so problematic. She kept pointing out minor mistakes in the food and everything. And she also told me that I was not raising the baby in the right way. Yeah, right. Now she's going to tell me after almost destroying my baby's room. I kid you not, guys, she's such an annoying woman. Anyways, so one day, back my sister-in-law came over again with her horrendous children, and my father-in-law, but this time I made sure that I locked the room. I could not afford the whole ruckus again, so as usual, the kids were really loud and they were running around here and there. So, they asked me to open the baby's room so that they could play with the toys. Now that I had locked the room, I told them to go play somewhere else. They started shouting and crying as they wanted to play with the toys, but I had to ask them not to. Also, from a distance, I noticed how Karen was already annoyed with all of what was going on with the kids and, of course, myself. So I came back to the living room where everybody was, and she lashed out at me in the most cruel way you can imagine. She called me selfish, as I just cared about myself and not anyone else's feelings. She said despite being a mother myself, I do not understand other children, as I stopped them from playing around. As if she did not know what the Havoc was about the other day. Everybody in the room could not even utter a word in front of Karen while she's making a scene. Not only this, she told them that I was a heartless woman who was not happy with my sister-in-law's children playing with the baby, and I don't like children very much. All of this proved how much she hated me and the kind of reputation I had in her eyes. There was clearly no mutual respect that we shared for one another, and there's no way that I would ever have respect for her. It made me wonder about the fact that how I thought that this new beginning would give her a heart, but no, she did not change at all. She was always this poisonous woman. How do I even put up with her? I just did not understand. All I tried was to maintain peace when I locked my baby's room so that there was no loss to take place like before. And just like this, look at the woman, calling me selfish and, for the matter, a heartless person? I don't understand what I ever do to her to deserve this. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'll have to leave this post incomplete, as the baby just started crying, you know. I'll try my best to write another update as soon as whatever happened happens after she created a scene. But for now, goodbye. Update number 2. Hey guys, I'm so sorry about updating you all so late, but hey, what can I do? I've been more busy with the baby these days, and I just hope you're all doing well. I'm so thankful to be a part of such a wonderful community where all of you are so supportive. It really means a lot to me, and to be heard this way feels really nice. So, coming back to the incomplete update after a day, I was busy with the baby, but now I have finally found some time just to get back to you guys. So, the last time Karen had caused the big scene regarding the fact that I did not let her notorious grandchildren into the baby room and called me a heartless woman. It was actually extremely humiliating for me, as I've never been seen that way, and I've always just respected everyone inside of Steve's family, you know? Well, what Karen was doing went completely, utterly overboard. I just cannot believe that each and every day she keeps on proving that she hates me and keeps creating even more problems for me. Well, you know, all this I have felt helpless, but not this time. So listen up, guys. On the same day, I came up with a plan. I felt helpless, but no, I have a plan. As the children do not have anything special to do, I told them that they could go to their grandmother's room, but there's a twist. Karen was not aware of it, and to my surprise, it was pretty easy to convince them. So I told them I had a gift hidden for them in Karen's room, like a really big one, and the game was to find the gift, and whoever finds it first will get to keep the gift. The children were elated and asked me to take them to Karen's room. Now, here's something that you should know. Her room is filled with her favorite things, including some of her favorite possessions, which were a bit on the expensive side, and very precious to her. And on the other hand, some of her favorite dresses that she had to get from her husband's money. The children happily went inside the room and started looking here and there for the gift. So I happily left them there, as now it was showtime. I went outside to attend to everyone, and I loved how Karen was joking about everything. After some time, we all could hear weird sounds in the living room, as if somebody sort of broke a glass. It was obviously coming from Karen's room, and we all ran towards her room, and the plan went exactly as we did. To take place, it was what I wanted it to be. Karen's entire room was destroyed, from the minor to the major things, and I could see how her jaw dropped while she was processing the entire mapping of her beautiful bedroom. Not only Karen, but nobody could process what had happened there. The entire room had turned upside down, and her expensive vases were shattered into pieces. Literally, they had been shattered so bad that they could not even be joined together. Her clean bed sheets were now full of dirt, and dry clean dresses had been pulled out of the wardrobe and were thrown on the floor by her own grandchildren. They had torn her dresses, even her most cherished ones, and some of her favorite antique pieces were destroyed. When I looked at her, I thought she was going to have a mental breakdown, and guess what she did? She starts crying hysterically when she saw what had happened to her room. Honestly, at that time, I was just holding back my laughter as I was seeing her cry like a baby. She seemed like she was going to have an absolute breakdown, which eventually she did. You see, now the condition was so bad that nothing could have been fixed. I kinda used my sarcastic tone and asked the children what they have done. Karen got the hint and got up and pushed me towards the door. This is the kind of woman she is, an absolute ruthless one. She blamed it on me and started screaming like an absolute madwoman. She literally shouted and claimed that it was my fault that the children broke everything in her room, but then at the moment she was silenced by my father-in-law, Brad, who asked her to calm down and took her to the living room. We called people to clean up the mess, and to be honest, I've never felt this powerful in front of her, as I've always kept quiet around her, but I think that she got her lesson. Thanks for staying here and reading my post, and at the same time sending in so much love and support. It means a lot to me, and this might be my last post, as I have already given her a taste of her own doings. Bye, everybody! Updates. Number 3. This is the final update of the story. Good evening, everyone. Here I am yet again. I know I mentioned that my last post was going to be the final one, but hear me out. Something major happened yesterday. So, a day before yesterday, when Karen broke down while she saw the mess created in her room, on the same evening she came down to the living room where all of us were, and I kid you not, she was furious. Now, she was standing in the same position where I was, and now I was the one laughing, and honestly, I still am. Anyways, she came downstairs and asked me to leave the house as I had humiliated her. I badly wanted to remind her that this was my house that she was living in, so she better think before she points a finger at me. She said that I put up those children to destroy her room and that I should move out already. I simply said, why would I do that? The children wanted to play in her room, and she again shouted hysterically and said that I did this on purpose. She rushed towards me to put a hand on me, but was immediately stopped by Steve, as he asked her to calm down. In a fit of rage, I asked her to prove that I did that on purpose, but obviously, considering that she was not around that time, she did not have anything to prove. She just stood there in silence while everyone waited for her to open up her crappy mouth. But no, she could not say anything. I asked her again for the proof, but she just stood there. I could see that she was embarrassed, so now that she was finally silent, I decided to tell everybody the reality. I told Steve that she never liked me and never wanted me as her daughter-in-law in the first place. Little did he know, and when he was not around, she used to tell me that I would never be able to match their family standards, and how unlucky I was for Steve. So I told Brad, father-in-law, and Steve of all, that she put me through, and luckily they believed me. Karen had nothing to prove against me. All I knew was that now she can never put me down, and I have had enough of her. My father-in-law and of course my husband were standing with me, and there was nothing more that I wanted. Karen realized that she was wrong and kept quiet throughout. I also told them that she was responsible for destroying the baby's room, and she ignored my wish and let those notorious kids just inside the room. They realized that I was being genuine over here. My father-in-law agreed that Karen had always been this problematic and that he never confronted her as he wanted to maintain peace. But this time she crossed limits and he simply asked her to leave, to which Steve also agreed. My father-in-law also said that she should not get back to the house at that point, since he was really mad at her and did not even want to see her around. Well, while hearing that, Karen started pleading to not banish her from the house, but she had already created so many problems that we had to take this decision. The highlight of the update is that she left yesterday. She packed all her remaining clothings and did not even bother to look at anyone, not even her husband, and she just left for my sister-in-law's place. As I write this, I feel nothing but a sense of victory that after being silent for so many years, I finally took a stand for myself and showed Karen her actual place. It's so much more peaceful now as there's nobody disrespecting me. It's a great feeling. And now I can just happily focus on my child's upbringing rather than anybody else's. I want to thank all of you who stayed throughout my post and sent in so much love and support. I never knew that I would become a part of such a beautiful community. Honestly, it feels great. This is officially my last post, and now I will focus on the better things. So bye everybody, good night. It was great sharing my thoughts. Number 1 negative comment says, "Hey, are you kidding me? This woman clearly manipulated us into believing that her mother-in-law Karen is a bad person. We did not know her side of the story, as clearly she mistreated you for some reason. Who knows what you did to her in the first place? Parents want the good for their children, and you should understand that not everybody is supposed to accept for who you are. Don't you dare come here and lie to our faces as if you're the innocent one. She's just wanting the children to play around as they were children, duh." Anyways, I'm not going to waste my time reading such horrible posts. Take care and remember that I still do not believe you.